Pledge allegiance led by Commissioner Lipke.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As I do the same, I'll remind folks to silence their cell phones. And we're going to move to our first item of business, which is electing a chair for 2022. Yes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Marie Drantle. That is the order that we follow over the years.
We have a nomination for Commissioner Drantle. I'll second. I don't know that we actually need a second, but I need a second. Well, second and third, I don't think we actually do, but are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
I move nomination cease and we cast a unanimous ballot for Marie.
Second.
Motion and second has been made. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm not going to even ask about opposition. I'm simply going to hand the gavel and thank you.
All right, thank you. In addition to chair, we need to appoint a vice chair at this point. Are there any nominations from the floor? I believe Jack would be next in the rotation. Do you follow me? No.
I'll nominate Commissioner Kolars.
I will second that. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations?
I move the nominations be closed and Commissioner Kolars be elected by acclamation.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Jack.
Congratulations, Madam Chair.
Next on our agenda is the approval of agenda. We had a handout, which I believe is just additional information for or supporting documents. Okay. Anything else to add or change on the agenda?
Madam Chair, there was, the blue packet did include an additional agenda item of the contract for the Brown County Evaluation Center. So there's additional consent agenda items.
Okay.
I move that we add the 2022 Brown County Evaluation Center item to the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And now motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any further conversation? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then we have the consent agenda with the 13 items.
I move for approval of the consent agenda as amended.
I'll second.
Any further discussion or anything anyone would like to pull off the consent agenda at this point? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Next on the agenda is public appearances. I believe we have some. So would anybody like to address the board? Generally, we come and state your name, and you've got 3 minutes to speak. And it's feel free to remove your mask when you speak so the microphone can pick you up.
Oh, we're going together, right? Oh. We're going to get 3 minutes each.
Can we do it together?
Since we're here for this thing.
Yeah, good morning. My name is, excuse me. My name is Mike Stevenson. I'm down here this morning on behalf of the Nicollet Conservation Club. And as most of you know, deer hunting is big in this state. And we've had a couple of meetings over at the club there, and we've come to the conclusion that we need to do everything we possibly can to protect our wild deer herd. The issue is chronic wasting disease and the fact it is now spreading around the state. Chronic wasting disease is an always fatal deer disease, and you can't test for it until the deer has passed on. Now, I see here that I talked to John about this, and I got an article here out of the Outdoor News that the Association of Minnesota Counties met at an annual convention, and they came up with an amendment on chronic wasting disease. It encourages the legislature, DNR, and Board of Animal Health to enact a comprehensive plan to slow or eliminate the spread. Well, what we would like, and we would like the county commissioners of Nicollet County to think about maybe putting a ban on any new deer farms coming into this area until our legislator gets something figured out. I know the researchers at the University of Minnesota are working to try to find a test that they can do on live deer. And, but all the data seems to show that chronic wasting disease is spreading throughout the state because of the deer farms. The last issue was this farm up in Beltrami County, where this deer farmer knew he had it on his farm, and the dead deer he just disposed of on county property. Now the Department of Natural Resources is up there. They had a fence in that area, and they have to bring in these sharpshooters that will thin down the herd so they can test deer to see how much is out there. It's a little controversial because there are some deer farms, but the number of deer farmers are continuing to drop. So that's why we're here. Our concerns about chronic wasting disease. And like I said, we want to do everything we possibly can to protect our wild deer herd.
So my name is Jeff Holman, business owner, taxidermist in Nicollet, but I'm also a former deer farmer in Nicollet County. To my knowledge, there's only one deer farm in Nicollet County currently. I believe there is a total of 237, they call them surveyed farms in Minnesota. About 180 roughly are just deer farmers alone. St. Louis County in recent months has passed a moratorium on deer farming in their county. And so it's been done before, and other counties I know are going through that process right now, so that's why we're here, to get out in front of it. Chronic wasting disease, as Mike said, is always fatal, and it's documented that it is passed on from deer farm to deer farm as these deer farmers move their deer from one farm to another. That's how it's being moved. The Board of Animal Health just recently gave the DNR the permission to enact certain rules, and so that they have been putting a ban on deer farm to deer farm transportation to stop it. And so, granted, there's only one farm in our county right now, but what we would hate to see is another one or more pop up. And, because once that CWD gets on that deer farm and gets passed on to the wild deer, many counties around that area, they really thin out the population of deer, because the less deer there are, the less prevalence of CWD there is in wild deer. So we just hate to see that in our area. And so we're just trying to get out in front of it, because as we know, our legislature doesn't agree very often on things, and this could take some time before they get something figured out to this end. And so.
I did talk to Representative Ackland and Senator Nick Friends, and they are both aware of how important this issue is, and hopefully the legislators will get something done this year. And to get those guys to do anything, they simply have to hear from us. So this is what we're doing here. Start with the county commissioners, but like I say, I see that the association has came up with an amendment. And another thing about the deer farm over at Nicollet there, he has had a number of escapes where deer have gotten out. One was where a tree fell down on the fence and, craved in the fence, and out go the deer. Another one was when he had some heavy winds, big snowbanks, the deer went right up over the fence. Now, he's nervous about this, and he did double fence around his place there, but still, the trees can take them both down. So I don't know, he's had at least 3 or 4 escapes at.
Yep, he does run a really good farm.
He does.
He's gotten out, one of the rules they've been trying to pass is double fencing all the farms so that a wild deer can't come in contact with a tame deer. But of course, deer farmers complain that it's extra cost, more burden to them, so it hasn't been enacted as a rule. But within the deer community, they're recognizing farms that have double fencing, so that when they want to sell deer to another farm, they can be more certain that their deer would not have CWD. So unfortunately, not all deer farmers work as well as what our current one does. He does a real good operation, but not everybody runs that way. So I know in St. Louis County, their county board approved the moratorium, and then I don't know how the government mechanics all work, but evidently it had to go to planning and zoning and then they had to pass whatever rule they did.
Yeah,
So-
you beat me to the punch there. It needs to go through P and Z, and then it comes to the full board, so.
Sure.
um,
So that's why we're here today, is to ask for that.
Thank you.
Could I make one other comment?
Sure.
Because I think a number of you commissioners were on a little tour of Swan Lake a year or so ago. Remember that? Remember that? Quite a lake, isn't it? But you know, we found goldfish out there now? Not koi. You know, koi are what they found goldfish out there now. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned. All right, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on our agenda is Public Works and County Attorney, eminent domain proceedings for County Road 15 reconstruction.
Thank you, Madam Chair. May I remain here? As the board is aware, Public Works is proceeding with the reconstruction of County Road 15. It may require the use of eminent domain proceedings in order to acquire that right-of-way. And when you utilize the eminent domain, that may involve initiation of condemnation proceedings to obtain that right-of-way. Currently, there are about 43 landowners that are outstanding for resolving those right-of-way issues. So we are here today seeking approval to coordinate with a law firm to initiate eminent domain proceedings as may be needed to facilitate that reconstruction of County Road 15. And I would take any questions.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Is this normal, Seth?
On very large reconstruction projects, you will have the potential for needing to use condemnation to get access to various parcels. Of those approximately 43 outstanding landowners, we got quite a few of them that have returned and accepted the offer, but we do not have the final conveyance documents signed off on. So I anticipate the 43 number going down drastically as time moves along, but to start the condemnation process and go through that and ultimately get access to the property is a fairly lengthy process. So we need to start now so we keep this project on track, because we do have grant funding that's involved with this project that has a hard sunset date on it. And so if we're not able to start the project in a timely manner, we could potentially lose, out on a significant amount of that grant funding.
Number 12?
No, we resolved all those parcels, but much smaller project.
Right. 3 miles versus 13 or?
About 11 and a half miles, 80 plus landowners, 115 or so different parcels. So it's a very large undertaking, and challenges that we've been running into. We've had several landowners pass away so far during the process, and it's getting very hard to find where is that land being, who's taking ownership and working through that. We also have issues where we've sent offer letters out, but our offer packets come back, nobody's receiving them, and we have no real idea how to contact those landowners. So there's a various list of different issues that prevent you from getting an actual parcel, and so using the condemnation process is just a way to get that property to keep the project moving on, but we will still work with those landowners to resolve those. Yep.
So at this time, we're looking for a motion to allow Public Works and the County Attorney's Office to seek outside counsel to assist with this process.
I'll take the motion.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second, but I'd like to ask a question if I could.
Commissioner Kohlers?
And thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate what you're saying, Seth, and what the county attorney is talking about. Is eminent domain the last step?
The goal is going to be to cooperatively work to a resolution to acquire the right-of-way, but if we cannot reach a resolution agreeing a purchase price, then the only step available then is to initiate those proceedings. So the goal is to do it cooperatively and negotiate back and forth with appraisals, et cetera, but if it can't be resolved, then this is the process to go forward.
And again, I hope that that process works ahead of a county taking land.
And that is the goal. That's what Seth and I have been talking about throughout the entire process, is continuing to contact the landowner, setting up meetings, talking through that process. But as noted, there are legal steps that need to happen prior to commencing the action. So we really want to do a parallel process so that we're not waiting to the last minute to try to initiate the formal proceedings in court.
And if I may, Madam Chair and members, Madam Attorney, the organization that you're looking to employ is skilled in this area of making those arrangements?
Correct. We're looking at working with the law firm of Rupp, Anderson, Squires, and Waldsberger, I think is how you pronounce the final partner name. They are a law firm that Scott Anderson works with, who the board is probably familiar with planning and zoning issues. They exclusively represent the public sector. And Mr. Squires is the individual that we're looking at, or that I've been talking with, and he is a certified real estate law specialist.
Madam Chair? Michelle, you said right-of-way? Is it not really right-of-way though, is it anymore? Isn't it, they actually purchase?
Yeah, we're purchasing road right-of-way and temporary easements as part of the project. Yep.
But it's actually a purchase of the soil though now, right?
In years past, most of the time they took out highway easements.
Okay.
They didn't buy the property in fee title.
Right.
We buy everything now in fee title.
Okay.
So it's completely in the county's name and ownership. Yep.
Any additional questions for staff? Commissioner Morrow?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to follow up on Commissioner Kolar's. This is a firm that's well-versed in this area of law, and Commissioner Kolar's, my thought in making the motion that this is a procedural step. It also brings another set of eyes in to the goal that you're raising of trying to do this on a cooperative basis. I think having outside eyes on this process is also helpful.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Any additional questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Next up is administration. Thanks, Seth. Let's hope it doesn't snow.
Yes.
Or ice?
75 and sunny would be great, wouldn't it? Morning, Mandy.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. I have 3 items for your consideration this morning. The first item I would like to discuss is the resolution setting the minimum salary for county sheriff and attorney. Minnesota statute requires the minimum salary for the offices of county sheriff and attorney be set in the beginning of the election year prior to the filing period. State statute does not specify a minimum salary for the county sheriff. This position has been established salary range within the county's compensation plan, so the minimum salary range for the position was used in the attached resolution for your consideration. State statute does provide a minimum salary for the office of county attorney, and this is based on a 1960 pay standard, which you will notice is within your resolution. The county attorney position is not part of the Nicollet County compensation plan, so the statutory minimum was enclosed within the resolution. And as I stated, this is a formality in the election year prior to the opening of the filing period for those 2 positions with it. So I'm asking for approval of this resolution setting the 2 salaries for county sheriff at $105,286.29, and that's based on the Nicollet County compensation plan, and then the county attorney minimum annual salary of $7,000, and this is based on the statutory requirement.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. I don't think we need to read this into the record because it's fairly standard.
I would agree.
Yeah, fairly standard language. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Kollars?
Yes.
Commissioner Lipke?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrow?
Yes.
Commissioner Drano?
Thank you, yes.
The next item I have for your consideration is amendment to the 2022 elected officials compensation and per diem resolution. As you may recall, at the December 2021 board meeting, I did provide a similar resolution for your consideration. That resolution was approved. Following the meeting, it was brought to my attention there was an error in the salary of the minimum set for the county commissioner. Today, I'm asking for amendment of this resolution and to address the error in the salary for the 2022 of the county commissioner's salary. Madam Chair, would you like me to read this for the record? Just want to note there are just 2 additional sentences within the resolution addressing the error.
Okay, sure. Sorry.
Amendment of the 2022 Nicollet County elected officials compensation and per diem resolution. Whereas the Nicollet County Board of Commissioners annually establishes compensation and per diems for elected officials. And whereas Minnesota Statute 375.055 states that the county commissioners in all counties except Hennepin and Ramsey shall receive as compensation for services rendered by them for their respective counties, annual salaries, and in addition may receive per diem payments and reimbursement for necessary expenses in performing the duties of the office as set by resolution of the county board, with the salary and schedules of per diem payments not being effective until January 1 of the next year. And whereas Minnesota Statute 387.20 and 388.18 states that the county board annually shall set by resolution the salary of the county sheriff and county attorney. And whereas the proposed 2022 Nicollet County budget includes a 2.5% general wage scale increase, and whereas the Nicollet County Board of Commissioners approved the 2022 Nicollet County elected officials compensation and per diem resolution at their December 14th, 2021 regular scheduled meeting. And whereas the resolution contained incorrect salary information for the Nicollet County Board of Commissioners in 2022. And now therefore be it resolved that the Nicollet County Board of Commissioners does hereby adopt the following amended salaries for 2022. Number 1, the Nicollet County Board of Commissioners salary will be $36,551.22 in 2022, with the chairperson of the board receiving an additional $1,500 annually for duties related to that position. Number 2, the Nicollet County Board and laypersons serving on county committees, which have been approved by the county board, are approved to receive per diems in the amount of $70,000 per day. $70 per day, excuse me. And number 3, the salary for the Nicollet County Attorney in 2022 is set at $132,401.75. Number 4, the salary for the Nicollet County Sheriff in 2022 is set at $137,977.35, dated this 4th day of January 2022.
Mandy has read the resolution into the record. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
One comment, Madam Chair. The total for investment for 5 commissioners on a $49 million budget is 0.003%. I think folks are getting their money's worth from commissioners.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Morrow?
Aye.
Commissioner Lipke?
Yes.
Commissioner Kollars?
Yes.
Commissioner Drano?
Yes.
The last item I have for your consideration is a resolution establishing the 2022 committee and board assignments and meetings that qualify for a per diem payment. Within your board packet, you will notice you have the listing of all of the committees that board members and laypersons do sit on. You will notice one change from previous years. We have the 2021 column, which individuals were assigned to, and then we added a 2022 column for discussion purposes, just for comparison as you go through to see who sat previously with on it. Hopefully that will help kind of clarify. And I also note that there are some changes in red would indicate individuals that have been replaced or an open position with it. And I'm more than willing to answer any questions as you go through this process.
Thank you. In past years, we went committee by committee. I think we can kind of do that at a high level at this point. My concern is we need to fill Commissioner Kemp's necessary committees, for lack of a better description, and make sure those are covered until someone is reelected to fill his position. Mandy, do you have a sense of which ones need to be filled that he was on?
My understanding, just from comments that I've received from staff, the Brown-Nicollet Committee was a concern. Committees that he sat on behalf of Health and Human Services were a concern, and then I believe Sheriff Lang sat on as an alternate for the State Radio Board.
Okay. Okay.
Madam Chair, if I could maybe suggest it for Commissioner Kemp's open positions, they're fairly straightforward, most of them, or many of them. If I could suggest that we had, where there's an alternate, so for example, broadband, the alternates serve on the committee till the election's done in April.
Okay.
And we could let the alternate perhaps go, not worry about that. That
Okay.
sounds okay?
Sounds okay. So then the only ones we really have, there's probably 4 that we have to worry about in his case.
Right, because I don't think we need to worry about AMC policy committees.
No. Or committees that we're all already on.
Mhm.
So in this case, we'd need to worry about the American Rescue Plan Act Committee that was new in late 2021.
Yes.
Is there anyone that would like to sit on that?
Terry would.
I already.
He already is. I can do that. And let's scroll down. Budget Committee. His replacement should be there at time, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, you and Jack will be
I
budget
think it
committee.
would be you and Commissioner Kolars as vice chair.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to Budget, Jack.
That's the process, right?
Yes. Treatment Court.
Has that even met?
We meet quarterly or twice a year, so that would be at least one meeting that might be missed.
I'm happy to fill in.
Okay, thank you. EMS Joint Powers Board, Jack is on that as the alternate, so he can move up.
Do we need an alternate to Jack?
My suggestion would be, let's see if we can get through the 4 months.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Because we'll have to shop.
Yeah, you're right.
Highway 169 Coalition, I don't think they, well, they meet.
Actually, I am on it.
Are you? Okay, good. Insurance Committee, that's late in the year, so that's probably okay to wait. Intergovernmental Youth Asset Collaborative,
I'm unfamiliar with that committee.
Hasn't met in years, has it?
okay, well, if they meet, call me.
Okay.
Local Mental Health Advisory Council,
Was that?
That's probably-
Yes, that was both Diane and yourself.
Me.
okay. Managed Resource Connections, Inc., formerly known, oh, that's good, I can figure that out, formerly known as Mankato Rehab Center.
I've served on MRCI previously. If you'd like me to take
Okay,
that, I'd be happy to fill until we get to the next.
all right, sounds good. Nicollet County North Mankato Liaison Committee. Jack is on it, Denny was also on it.
And I'm the alternate, aren't I? Or not?
Yes, well, yes, you are, okay, you're
Let's put
good.
Let's put John in there.
All
I
right.
got one precinct there, so.
Park Committee, probably can wait until it's filled.
Was that Denny and me?
Yep. State Radio Board, Dave has. Thank you. St. Peter Family Services Collaborative Joint Powers Board, the 15-minute meeting twice a year. Thank you. South Central Multi-County HRA Board. Thank you. South Central Workforce Council, Jack is the alternate. Okay. Traverse de Sioux Regional Library, Denny was the alternate there?
He was the alternate, I guess.
Okay. And that's it.
Madam Chair, if I could just ask, maybe it's more for the two of you. Do you have manageable load, or do you need to shift anything that's on your plate?
I think we're good.
I think we're good too, Terry.
Okay.
Seems like you took on a little extra during these next quarter.
Well, he's been taking on for 7 or 8 months now.
Sorry. Madam Chair, if you're looking for a motion, I would move approval of the committee and board assignments for 2022.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Thank you. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Rolling right along. County attorney updates.
Madam Chair, as we begin our 2022, there we go.
Did you need something?
There was a resolution, she's out.
Oh, sorry. It was a resolution. It's my first one in a while. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Kohlers?
I think it was Morrow.
Commissioner Morrow, yes.
Aye.
Commissioner Kohlers?
Yes.
Commissioner Lipke?
Yes.
Commissioner Drano?
Yes. Sorry, Sarah. I was given hand signals and you weren't watching. So, County attorney, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we begin our 2022 year, I think our focus will continue to be finding creative solutions and ways to address mental health in all facets of the work that we do in the county attorney's office. It touches just about every area that we handle. Just had a meeting of school-related stakeholders, and mental health continues to be the top identified issue facing our students along with our families. And so trying to continue to work with all of the stakeholders across the realms with addressing mental health. So that'll be kind of a key focus. Along with coming with that is chemical dependency and chemical use to address those mental health symptoms. So that is my update for today.
May I ask the county attorney a question?
Sure.
Thank you. Do you see any changes with the COVID numbers increasing on how court will be held in this year of 2022 moving forward?
I see the impact probably being delaying any implementation of in-person hearings being expanded. Currently, the only hearings that we're handling here in Nicollet County in person are contested evidentiary hearings, jury trials, and trials and child protection matters. Otherwise, everything else is by Zoom. I think we were all hopeful that we would go back to having more in-person hearings, but I would suspect the Supreme Court will continue to be slow in expanding that list of in-person hearings.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Chair's report. I have nothing extraordinary to report at this time. County Commissioner reports. Commissioner Lipke.
Went to the Highway 14 Partnership meeting down in Owatonna in the fog, and the next annual meeting is actually going to be in Nicollet. I went to the Dakota encampment in Cortland and donated a few bales of hay. And this afternoon I am meeting with the Nicollet County Historical lady, the Brown County Historical lady, and the Chamber of Commerce lady in New Ulm, seeing if there's a direction for Fort Ridgely and Harkin Store. Thank you.
Commissioner Morrow.
Actually, Madam Chair, the one thing I'm wondering if we can come back to is that the Supreme Court this Friday is going to be having its hearing on mandatory vaccination policies and that. And so I know we're all keeping an eye on that. I'm just pointing that out. In terms of meetings, none immediately come to mind.
Okay, thank you.
National or state Supreme Court?
Commissioner Kohlers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I attended the Highway 14 meeting and decided not to drive in the fog that day. John, I don't know how you made it there.
I saw one accident on the way.
Highway 14 will continue to exist. There was some idea as well with this funding for the Nicollet to New Ulm. Should we disband? And the idea is no, not to disband until everything falls into place and we have a brand new 12 miles of highway from Nicollet to New Ulm. in the future, that organization may send monies that are acquired through dues to other like organizations, 169s or others, so to help them do their legislative lobbying work, or there may just be a refund. That'll be wait to be seen. The Greater Mankato Growth met within this past time frame along with Traverse de Sioux. We had a Minnesota Valley Action Council meeting, which I shared with Cassie and other members about some of the concerns with Head Start folks in LeSueur County, neighboring LeSueur County, apparently having to close their Head Start tomorrow because of lack of vaccinations and the issues that are come along with the federal guidelines. And then Madam Chair, Dranto and I had another mediation session yesterday with unionized reps.
Thank you. Next is commissioner meetings and conferences.
Well, there will be one AMC, Mandy, in February, correct?
I believe that sounds correct. I haven't seen an exact date yet as far as the date with it in February, but that sounds correct with it. As soon as I get any information, I will share that with you all. But I'm not aware of anything else. We are in discussions with our area legislators about confirming a date for those discussions.
Okay.
Do we have a date on that? I'm sorry?
Not yet. I'm still waiting for responses.
And that'll be a Zoom meeting?
That is planned as Zoom.
Thank you.
Makes it easier to coordinate with them.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Next on the agenda is to approve per diems and expenses.
I'll move it.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And a motion to adjourn the Board of Commissioners meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The regular board meeting is adjourned, and now we will call the Drainage Authority meeting to order. First is to approve the agenda of the Drainage Authority.
So moved.
Second.
Any other additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda, item number 1.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Thank you. Any additions or corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 2, set public hearing date for County Ditch 79 final acceptance of improvement project contract and levy. Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Yeah, that agenda item's kind of a mouthful. On December 9th, ISG submitted their final acceptance report and the final pay application to Malno Trucking. And for this, we do have to, by statute, have a final acceptance hearing. So at that hearing, we would be doing the final, considering the final payment, closing this project out, and considering the levy for this project. And I am proposing that we have this public hearing February 8th, 2022 at 10 a.m.
Do we have a
I'll
motion?
move it.
Second.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second to set that public hearing February 8th, 2022 at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, yeah. Just a side note, that is election day, but the statute says that for counties and schools and cities that we can't have public hearings between 6 and 8 at night. So we are okay to have a public hearing during the day.
All right, thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes?
Is this the one by Swan Lake?
This is the one out at Swan Lake in Cortland Township, the Hulkies and Giesekes and the Cordis property. Yeah. So we'll.
Hearing no other comment, all those in favor?
Aye.
That's all I have.
Next, we need to close the Drainage Authority. I don't have my verbiage here, so I'm going to wing it.
Madam Chair, I think if we would take a short recess in order to get outside counsel online, we'll probably start an open session to announce that we're going to go to closed session.
Okay.
And then come back.
All right.
So if we could take a break to allow for that
All right.
technical
So
transition.
10 minutes to get the technology working, and then we'll go back into open session and close it for the closed portion of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
threatened litigation pursuant to Minnesota statutes, Chapter 13D. So all unnecessary people, please leave the room.
All right.
Guess that's me.
That would be you. Thank you.
No problem.
And just would note that Commissioner Lipke is recusing himself because he has property on 86A.
All right, we're ready to come out of closed session and come back into open session.
Madam Chair, if I may, after discussions with our attorney, I would move that we agree to mediation in this matter and ask Commissioner Terry Morrow to represent the county at mediation.
Thank you, Commissioner Kohlers. I will second that motion, and I think we need to state mediation with Lametti and Sons.
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize,
Yep,
yes.
with Lametti and Sons. Commissioner Lepke would like to recuse himself, I'm
Yes, I
assuming?
would.
All right.
And Commissioner Kohler, just to be clear, a law firm will be representing us as well.
You will represent the board along with our law firm representing the county,
Thank you.
if
All
that
right.
clarifies the motion.
Mhm.
Any other comments or questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
That concludes the business of the Drainage Authority today, and at this time, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.